You're listening to the Tribe Nail Tech podcast, where nail techs find inspiration and motivation to take their career to the next level. We welcome you here. Now tribe up and slay your day. Here is your host, Becky Bunnell.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Becky Bunnell. In this episode of Tribe Nail Tech podcast, we are going to talk about fear. Today's episode is sponsored by Sogel Nails, and for today's contest, you can go to sogelnails.com/contest to enter to win some free product. Hey guys, we're going to talk about fear. Fear. What is fear? I'm going to pull up the definition of fear really quick. Found that earlier and I wanted to. So fear is a noun, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. And a verb, be afraid of someone or something as likely to be dangerous, painful, or threatening. How many of us live with fear? Fear. Here's an acronym for fear. So this is what most of us think about fear. Forget everything and run. How many of you do that? Here's another one. False evidence appearing real. Have you heard the saying, fear is a liar? It's so true. I'm going to give you a little bit of personal information. At the beginning of every year, I like to pick a word for the year that I'm going to work on. In 2019, I decided that I was going to have the word fearless. So everything I was going to do was going to help me break through fear and be fearless in my life, in all aspects of my life, my business and my personal life. I'm going to tell you right now, it was a pretty amazing year. So everything I did had the intention of being fearless. And what I mean by that is, how many times have you seen something that you wanted to do? Maybe something come across Facebook. Maybe it was something you wanted to learn, something you wanted to do in your business, whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'd really like to do that. And then you started coming up with the excuses and the reasons why you couldn't do it. The reason why you couldn't do here, go there, learn this, do that. And then you just found yourself not doing it. Here's another acronym for fear. Finding excuses and reasons. Finding excuses and reasons. How many of you do that? And I'm here to tell you that at the end of the year, I really did realize fear is a liar because it talks you out of all these things. It brings in the anxiety of, well, what am I going to look like if I do that? And who's going to say something about this if I do that? And, you know, how many times, like with your nail business, that you've wanted to maybe go live doing some nail art or different techniques? You want to take your nail career to the next step, to the next level, to level up. And you've got the fear to do it because you're afraid of what everybody's going to think of you. Been there, done that. And it's really scary. So I'm here to tell you the first time that I ever went live on my Facebook page, oh my gosh, it took me forever to even get the courage up to do it. I was so worried about what everyone else was going to think of me. Am I going to look dumb? What are other educators going to say about me, think about me, other nail techs? But guess what? I just pushed through the fear and I did it anyways. Wasn't perfect. Probably wasn't that good. Maybe I even looked like an idiot, but I did it. And then guess what? I'm here to tell you, after I did it, I was like, well, that wasn't that bad. Actually, that was kind of fun. And actually, it kind of gave me a little bit of a high because it was like, wow, that was really cool. And I did something that I was afraid to do and it really wasn't that bad. And then I wanted to do it more and more and more. And here I am today doing a podcast. Is it perfect? No. Do I fumble with my words a lot? Yep, I do. And guess what? That's okay. Because you're always going to have somebody that loves what you do and they're going to follow you and they're just going to think you're wonderful. And you're going to always have the people that are going to judge you. They're going to think you're dumb. They're not going to follow you. They don't believe in anything you say. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because there's always somebody that you're going to be able to help. And I like to say this a lot. It's like being on a freeway. There's always somebody ahead of you There's always somebody ahead of you that you want to be up with, that you inspire to be like, right? Always in the industry, think about the person that you look up to, that you think is wonderful, that is, maybe she's just a really sweet person. She's always wanting to help others. Maybe it's a nail tech that just does beautiful nails, beautiful nail art. And you're like, man, if I had half of her talent, I would just be doing so good. There's always somebody ahead of you, right? But there's always somebody behind you. There's always somebody that's looking up to you, that's saying, I can't wait till I'm as good as that person. Or I want to be like that person. I hope someday I can help people like that person, right? So we all have our own lane. We all have our own strengths. We have our own weaknesses, and it's okay. But I'm here to tell you, if you break through the fear of what it is that you want to do, aspire to do, and the goals that you have, you will grow tremendously in your personal life and in your business. And it's so worth it. So I would encourage you to write things down. What is it that you want to do? And what is it that you're scared of? And so, okay, fear. Fear is a liar. So it's telling you that if I do this, this is what's going to happen. But really, is it really going to happen? Probably not. So I would say write down your goals, write down the things that you want to do, the things that you want out of your career. And maybe if you want, write down, okay, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if I do it? What is the worst thing going to happen? And then look at it. Is that really a horrible thing? Is it going to be the end of your life? Is it going to be the end of your career if you do that? Probably not. So I think in your mind, you're making it up to be more than it really is. Push through the fear and just do it. And you will be amazed at the results you will get and how good it will make you feel. And like I said, then before long, you're wanting to do more and more and more. Maybe you're wanting to become an educator and you want to teach classes and you just feel like you have a passion for that. You want to help people, but you just like, I'm not good enough. I'm not this, I'm not that. You're always going to have those doubts, because I'm here to tell you, being in the industry and being an educator, being an ambassador for a company, being able to go and hang out and be in the same arena as a lot of other educators, guess what has happened? All these people that I put on this big pedestal that I was like, oh my gosh, I could never be with that person. I could never talk to that person. They're so good at this, that. And I compared myself to. Once I got to know those educators that are high up in the industry that you see that have these huge followings and stuff, once I started hanging out with them, attending the same shows that they were attending, educating at the same shows, being on cruise with the Nail Stars, guess what? I started having these people, some of these people reached out to me and was asking me questions. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just got a message from so-and-so. What? Why is she messaging me? She's been in the industry for this long. She's done this. She's on this level. And guess what? Nope. We all have the same fears and we all have the same concerns. And I was blown away by this. We all have the same insecurities. Just doing the online workshops and online classes that I have on my website, I just stepped out of the box and was just like, okay, I don't know how to do this. Nobody's taught me how to do this online class, but guess what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because it doesn't have to be perfect. And if I wait till it's perfect and till I know what I'm doing, I will never do it, because I will keep talking myself out of it. I will keep finding excuses and reasons, and I'll never do it, right? So I just jumped with it, did my first class. I had so many attendees. I was blown away. I was so excited. I was so grateful. It was amazing. And then, a year later, I had people in the industry that I looked up to messaging me saying, now, how did you do your online classes? How did you do this? How did you do that? And it was like, what? Why are they asking me? I'm here to tell you that break through the fear and do it anyways. Do it scared to death, and you will be amazed what will happen. I did lots of things. I went to a retreat. I seen a retreat come across Facebook and I was just like, oh man, I would really like to go to that retreat. That retreat sounds wonderful. Now, it wasn't a nail retreat. It was just a retreat. It was some amazing stuff. You could sign up for different things. I think it was a 3-day or 4-day in Zion. I didn't know one person that was going. I didn't even know the people that was putting on the retreat, but I seen it. I read the itinerary. It was a lot of money, but I was like, I really want to do that. It was just burning inside me that I really wanted to do it. So guess what I did? I clicked pay. Before I could talk myself out of it, I clicked pay. I could have sat there and said, well, I don't know anybody. I can't go somewhere like that by myself. There's so many things I could have said to myself to talk myself out of it. And I went. And then when I went, I just went in there, started talking to people that came there with other friends. They just kind of gathered me up. I wound up sitting by people that had the same kind of story as me. I've adopted children out of foster care. I sat by a lady that had adopted like 5 or 6 kids, some out of foster care. We get talking. And I was just like, this is kind of crazy because the universe works in mysterious ways. And you're meant to do those things. When you feel the burning desire to do something, do it, because you are meant to be in that place for a reason. I know 100% without a doubt that I was meant to be at that retreat. And so I've made some long-lasting friends there. People were blown away that I went there by myself. And it was amazing. And what happened on the very last day is the lady that put on the retreat, she asked me to speak in front of everyone. I had like 15 minutes notice. She went around to a couple different people on the very last day as we were having the breakfast. And she was like, can you say a few words at the end? Like, can I call on you to say some stuff? And instead of saying, I don't know about that, what am I going to say? I instantly said yes. Another thing broke through my fear. I could have talked myself out of it. I could have found the excuses and the reasons not to, because I'm standing in there in front of all these women. Why would you want to hear from me? Like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to talk about? Like, what's my story? What am I supposed to say? Before I could talk myself out of it, I said yes. And then I just sat there for a minute and thought, okay, all right, universe, God, whatever you believe in, what am I supposed to say to these ladies? What should I say? Came to my time and I just opened my mouth, and what came out, what I talked about was what I talked about. But I really did share with them my journey for the year, because that was in October. So in January, I had set the intention for the year to be fearless. And I talked about that. I came here not knowing anyone and how amazing it was. And that, we can push through our fears and we can just grow from there. And so that's one thing I did that was amazing. Never thought that I could have done that. There was a few classes during the year that it was like, oh, I want to learn how to paint. I want to take a voiceover class. I want to do this, do that. I would just click pay and I would just go. I went by myself to all of these things, but it was totally amazing. To end the year, my big goal was, I've always had on my bucket list to go skydiving. Yep, skydiving. Now, let me tell you, if there's is there any other way that you could be more fearless than to go skydiving? Probably not. So my birthday is 2 days after Christmas. So I literally ended the year. I text my husband one day and I said, I know what I want for my birthday. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, I want you to drive me to Vegas and I'm going to go skydiving. And he had just had shoulder surgery. So I knew he wouldn't be able to do it with me. And so I was just like, hey, can you do that? If not, it's fine. I'll, go myself or whatever. But I would really like you to take me there and be there when I jump out of this plane. And so I did that. And let me tell you, was that the coolest thing ever? So just very liberating, it was the coolest thing ever. So, I really encourage you to break through your fears, figure out what those things are, because, maybe you've got anxiety, but really once you do it, you're like, that wasn't that bad. But I want to give you the acronym that I love for the word fear to close out the episode today. And here is the acronym I love for fear. It says face everything and rise. So guys, face it head on. You can do this. I know you've got it in you. And once you do it, you will rise. You'll become braver and you will move on to the next step. And you will really look at yourself and go, wow, I can't believe I did that. And you're just going to keep rising. You're just going to keep making more of yourself every day and just break through the fear. Because remember, again, there's always somebody ahead of you. There's always somebody behind you. So I'm in close today. Face everything and rise. And remember, tribe up and slay your day.